Hello everyone, welcome back to Pwn TV. Today I'm actually back at my mall garden and I'm going to feed my pets and try to evolve Brian again. So I've tried for a few days now to evolve this guy and he has not been cooperating with me. He's currently an Ellis Moth, which is an evolution of a King Behemoth, and I'm trying to make him into a Score Moth. So we have to feed him a Gabrath meat in order to accomplish that. And while I'm here, I'm just going to take care of my other pets as well. So here is Crimmy, and I'm going to see how he's doing. So he's doing pretty good. Pretty exciting. Alright, so I'm going to interact with him. I think today, let's just pet him and see if he likes being pet. I think he liked being pet. Yep, he really liked being pet, so that's good. So let's give him something to drink. Because you don't drink salt water on beaches, right? That's just gross. Sometimes you have to follow him around like that, yeah. Because he'll try to walk off on you. Okay, so Crimmy and Tom. I need to take care of Tom now. So Tom is a blazing worm? Blazing worm. So I have a lunar worm and a blazing worm. Tom's just a little bit younger than Crimmy. So let's interact with him. He likes being yelled at, so I'll yell at him. Very excited about that. And you know what? I'll actually also trade him a water. It's an art form, being able to chase a mob down and also trade to it. Definitely an art form. Alright, so I took care of the dragons. I have a slime. I need to take care of my slime as well. Slimes like, they like any sort of meat really, so let me find a piece of meat that's not a Gabrath meat, because the Gabrath meat's going to the behemoth. Alright, so here's a Cerberus meat. I'll take a Cerberus meat out, and I'll trade him a Cerberus meat. There we go. Hooray, he likes it. Alright, so I'm also going to interact with him. See how he's doing. I think he's a slime level 2. Okay, he's 1.5 stars, but slime is the second evolution of mini slime. And then he's got a Hecdice form after this that I need to turn him into. So I actually can start doing that whenever at this point, because he did already give me the slime memento the other day when I interacted with him. He gave me that, so we're square. I'm able to evolve him and not miss any key item cheer effects, right? So that's where I'm at right now on the slime, so I do need to evolve him into a Hecdice. He's going to give me a cheer effect. The Hecdice cheer effect gives my trusts a magic attack bonus. I believe it's +8. It's pretty lit. So if I'm farming and I need a bunch of mages in my party just to do damage, like maybe I'm proccing in Dynamis or something and I want to do magic procs, I can just simply do that. With that cheer effect, it's pretty handy. I can just slay everything with just trusts. So it's pretty lit. Alright, so let's interact with this guy. He likes being slapped because he's a slime. So there we go. So he's taken care of. And then last but not least, we have to do Brian. Okay, so Brian, let's check him out. So he should be a level 3 Ellis Moth. Yep. And so I'm going to actually trade him a Gabrath meat because that's his evolution item. Alright, so he squirms uncontrollably, so he's going to try to evolve when I come back in here. So before I do that, I'm actually going to do a two-parter in this video. Basically, I've been crafting adamant ingots and working on this Smith's Aspis for a while, and this is the level 1 Escutcheons shield. So I'm trying to get this to the level 2 form, and you can see the craftsmanship is already 56.5%, which is more than halfway done, and I really haven't been doing anything to grind that out other than just casually making adamant ingots. So if you look at my inventory, I have a bunch of adamant ingots. It's my favorite craft to do. I like farming the items because it gives me CP, and I can dump the CP in to actually augment my RMEA weapons, because you can do that now over at the Obro NPC. So there's just so many reasons for me to go out there and farm these adamant ores, and they turn into adamant ingots. And since I'm a smith, I need a lot of these for just regular crafting, and they sell quite nicely as well because it's pretty difficult to get all the ores, I suppose. There's not that many mobs in the zone, and they have a terrible drop rate, so I don't get that many ores. But you can see I have a few stacks of ingots. I'm pretty excited about that. And the craft is just simply 1 ore and 6 adamant nuggets, which if you watched my previous videos on monster rearing, you noticed that the NPC, the green thumb Moogle, actually gives me the adamant nuggets now as an unlock, simply because I did the monster rearing system and I got the particular cheer effects that I needed to get to actually unlock those green thumb Moogle purchases, purchasable items, right? So that's where we're at right now. So the typical craft that I do with my cheer effects and everything is 1 adamant ore and 6 nuggets. I just simply do that. So that's a bit of thumb work that you have to do to actually create 1 adamant ingot. You have to go through the fire crystal menu and drop all the items into the fire crystal menu and then hit OK, and hopefully nothing goes wrong, and then you have to wait for it, obviously. And so there's just a bunch of downsides to doing it. Well, the Escutcheons shield gives you a faster wait time, so you don't have to wait nearly as long to craft these things. It's pretty lit. That's like the only way to get that effect is from that shield, so I'm pretty psyched about that. But I'm also psyched about something that most people probably don't already know about. This was added to the game several years ago, but it's just not that commonly used because crafting is not that popular, and even certain crafts don't even know about this. You can just type in last synth, and whatever menu you pulled up with your crystal the last time, the game automatically does that again. So it automatically opens a fire crystal, automatically puts in the 6 nuggets and the 1 ore, and then it automatically confirms that craft and makes the adamant ingot for me just when I type the last synth command. That was added to the game. That's very exciting because what you're able to do with that is you're able to actually go into your macro system, and you could simply do something like this where you just go last synth and then a small wait time, and then you click OK on the macro, and it will actually do the last synth as well. If you have the materials, of course. I think I might have the materials, might not have a fire crystal. Okay, I need to break the cluster. So you can actually, there's a line of code you can do for that. It's item fire cluster, and then targeting yourself. And when you do that, you break the fire cluster. So you could write that in a macro as well. And then you're able to actually make this craft just by pressing the macro button. You can just spam the last synth command. It'll actually wait the 18 seconds. I believe it's about 18 seconds before you can craft again. It might be 19 or 20. I might have to redo this macro and tweak it just a little bit. Let's see if I can actually do the second one. It might, yeah, see, it's a little bit too slow. So ideally what you would want to do is fix that. And the fix for that is pretty simple. You could just go in here and say like wait 19, and then come down here, wait 19, and do something like that. And then when I hit the button again, it should probably allow me to do that. It might fail again. We might need to just make it wait 20, but you get the idea. You can press the button and then go AFK. Maybe you go get a cup of coffee, bathroom, cigarette break, whatever it is, watch some TV, and then your game is casually crafting for you, which means you're casually getting craftsmanship points on your shield if you're working on an Escutcheon, etc. Like, this is all I've really been doing to make all of these shields, and it looks like that craft macro needs to be up to 20 because it's still not working the way that I want it to. So let me just tweak that one more time. My apologies about this. I thought it would work on 19, but it didn't. It caught the third line just now. So I'm doing the third line right now of that previous macro. The second line got skipped because it was just too quick to try to spam the last synth command again. You have to wait for the wait timer, which is what I was talking about. With the Escutcheon shields, you don't have to wait nearly as long. So let me press this button again. I think the wait timer's up, so I'll just press the button and I craft again. And my shield is going to go ahead and probably get another proc, another upgrade on craftsmanship. You'd be surprised how quickly you can upgrade your craftsmanship just simply spamming the same macro, the same last synth. If you want to get it up faster, then you have to obviously craft different things, not the same item back to back, and then you're able to do that. But you can see anyway, the craft macro is okay, but it could be improved a little bit. Let me show you an improved version of the craftsmanship, not the craftsmanship, the last synth macro that I've been using to actually get craftsmanship up. Okay, so obviously you need to use Windower to use any sort of scripts, and scripts are basically macros that you've added to the game, like in this format, but they give you more than 6 lines to play with. And since this windowr, you can do shell commands, which are basically like you talk to windowr itself and you tell it to do something specific, something that you might not be able to write into your macro. Like for example, this right here, console gs equip, that's a windowr command. That doesn't mean anything on Final Fantasy XI's actual interface, but on the windowr interface, which you're probably playing the game through, it does mean something, right? So what I can do is use this script, which is just a macro that I designed to craft with. So I can type exec for execute, it's /exec, and then the name of the script. So I think it is craft.txt, and this is a pretty fantastic script. So what this allows me to do is use a food effect on myself to increase my chances of actually skilling up my craft. It also puts on any equipment that I need to put on that actually works with my craft. Like I can hard code it to be smithy torque, smithy body armor, all the items that I need for smithing. If I'm going to do something like alchemy, then I can put the alchemy pieces on, whatever it might want to be. I could make different scripts that do different particular crafts, like there could be one for craft smithing, there could be one for craft alchemy, for example. And basically all it does is spam the last synth command, just like this, over and over again. And it simply does that. And I have the thank you and the echo command at the end simply because what I want to do is recognize the person that actually told me about the last synth command, which was in fact a streamer named W911, and he came on my stream one day and showed me all about the last synth command. And that'll be relevant when I show you the craft.txt code that I actually wrote, which I'll do just here in a moment. We're going to zone out, and you know, if you're familiar with the Mog Garden, it takes a while to zone out. So I planned on showing the code while we were in this screen here, while I'm actually zoning, because why not? It just is very efficient with my time. So basically, this is the actual code for the craft.txt that I designed. Basically, all it is just calling a specific macro that it named macro. It's calling rep all over again, over and over. So every time macro gets called, it just calls rep, which is another macro. And it just keeps repeating itself. And the rep is actually, let me actually zone back into the game, the Mog Garden really quick. This is what takes the longest time, so let me do this and then I'll get back to actually the code. Okay, so when you call rep, it just runs down here and it says rep, okay, I'm going to do a small wait, which I could put in the macro block if I wanted to in the game without windowr. But then it also uses a Kitron macron. Okay, that's 2 lines right there, right? And then it has to wait again to do another command. And then it does another command, which is equipping something. So you could maybe put an equip set in there. That's 2 or 3 lines of code in your macro system without windowr right there. So that's half of your macro right there. And then after you put all of the equip pieces on, then of course you have to do something. So the next thing that it does is use the last synth macro call, which is down here. And all that does is it spams the last synth. It just does one last synth input and that's it. And then it calls the crystal. And what that does is allow me to keep repeating the process. If I run out of crystals, it'll just use crystals. You might have noticed when I was spamming the craft, it actually gave me some error messages saying that you can't use that effect right now, and that was basically because the crystals were trying to be used. And so yeah, that's basically the script right there. And there's some deprecated code here, which was what I used before I used last synth. There was a whole different code structure using all these different aliases, which are basically another word for macros. All of these different macros were being used in that bigger script that I had before, and it was a very complex script, but I deprecated it once I realized that I could just simply use last synth, and that has helped me ever since. So last synth is a fantastic command inside the game without windowr, inside the game with windowr. It's just a very, very good command. So yep, that's it for the script there. Here's the crystal call. It's just basically using the crystals on myself, the clusters, and then it's waiting, and then it just echoes this at the end. And that's it. That's basically the whole thing. And then of course, when you're writing scripts, you actually have to unbind things that you bind. So I have some bind calls down here, and I have some unbind calls. So basically what happens is when I unbind the when I run the macro, it automatically has these 2 binds, and the first thing that happens is bind C and Control C and Alt C are actually bound. So the Control C is basically what I would press to execute the script again, and the Alt C, what that does is it unbinds the Control C, and it actually, well actually it doesn't unbind it. I manually unbind it after I'm done, but it doesn't really matter. You don't need to unbind things necessarily. unless you need that key for something else. But the point is, when I press Alt-C, it actually pauses the script, and it actually says, I'm going to cancel each one of these aliases that are currently running in memory, maybe, so it doesn't continually call all of these aliases in the script. Since it's a repetitive script, it's probably got a lot of method calls in the script, so that's my way of actually stopping it. It's my pause key. I just hit Alt-C, and I'm paused, and I'm good to go. So I just wanted to show that as well, in case anybody was interested in writing any scripts in the game. This is a pretty good layout for making scripts. Just kind of ignore all this deprecated code, and then everything else is pretty much just simple aliases and binding, and that's it. And then you of course call the macro, which is the very first alias here. And so when you make the macro call at the very end of the script, it already has everything in memory, and it just goes back up here. It says loop, okay, rep, and then go down to rep, etc., and just run through the whole script. And it's pretty handy. I really like this script. So that's it for my crafting.txt, my craft.txt script. I just wanted to show that because people have been asking what's the best way to actually craft if you want to go AFK, and I feel like that is the best way to craft if you want to go AFK. There's really no better way to do it. You're going to have to use some sort of window or command, some sort of script or Lua file to do it, and I feel like that's just the easiest, most efficient way. There's probably a more efficient way if I used Lua programming, but I'm not really interested in designing any more code when I've got something that already works. So that's what I use. Anyway, we are back in the monster breeding system, and here's Brian again. I don't think he actually evolved. Sad face. I really thought he would evolve. Let's see. He's still an Ellis Moth, you guys. He has not evolved yet. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll make another video tomorrow, and we'll try to evolve Brian again. He's been a bit stubborn on evolving. I don't think he wants to be a Score Moth yet, you guys. I think he's living it up as an Ellis Moth. YOLO. Brian is YOLOing really hard, just like me. So definitely a good pet to have in my Maw Garden because he's YOLOing, and we love to YOLO together. Anyway, I will make more videos following up this one based on the Score Moth evolution that I'm trying to do for Brian. And until next time, guys, peace out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.